So we are officially entering a new season of life in our household. My oldest is actually going to be starting kindergarten and we signed him up for sports. So our whole family routine is about to get a little shuffled as we all sort of lean in to the upcoming fall and all the festivities and routines that come with it. That being said, I am very type A. I need to have a plan, especially when it comes to feeding my kids healthy lunches, breakfast, snacks, all of that. So today I'm going to be spending some time in my kitchen prepping some breakfast and some snack ideas to add to lunch, after school snack ideas, in hopes that maybe this can be helpful for you and your family as the school year begins to ramp up and the summer sadly dies down. It is a exciting time of the year, I think, just in terms of transitions and all of that. But I do want to try and make sure we're not running around like crazy when it comes to, breakfast in the morning, since our schedule will be a lot earlier, and that my kiddos aren't super hungry when they get home and I have nothing, healthy to feed them in terms of a snack. So that is what I'm going to be working on today. Hopefully this is helpful. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I'm a full-time working mom of 2 kiddos, and I focus on meal prep and high protein meal prep, healthy options to, complement a healthy lifestyle along the way. But coming from a quite busy mom who also doesn't have a million hours to spend in the kitchen because I work full time. So thanks for being here and let's get started. First up, blueberry pancakes using Kodiak cakes. If you've never tried it, it's a higher protein waffle and pancake mix, and you literally just add water. Pancakes can feel very time consuming, especially on busy mornings, but really the only annoying part is babysitting the stove, at least in my opinion. So when I make them, I typically make a big batch because they freeze really well, and then all I have to do in the morning is warm them up. My kids love blueberries, but you can customize these with whatever mix-ins your kids like, or you. I personally like chocolate chips. Next up are breakfast burritos. I try to make sure my kids have some form of protein at breakfast, and these are such an easy way to get a good mix of protein and carbs in. And if you're making a big batch of these, you can definitely save yourself some time at the stove by making sheet pan eggs. I have plenty of videos on how I do that, but you can just pour your eggs into sheet pan, pop them in the oven after you've blended them, and you can basically walk away while they cook. I, in this case, wasn't making a huge batch this time, so I just cooked the eggs on the stove. This is one of those recipes where you can really customize it based on what your kids like or yourself. You could add bacon, sausage, veggies, cheese, really whatever you have on hand. I just kept these super simple with just scrambled egg and shredded cheese. Then I just added the filling to a tortilla, rolled it up, wrap each one individually in foil, and I like doing this because it makes them really easy to grab and go in the morning. These freeze really well too. I just take one out of the freezer and move it to the fridge the night before, and then in the morning I can warm it up in the microwave or pop it in the air fryer, and breakfast is ready in a couple of minutes. And honestly, these just aren't for the kids. I love making a batch for my husband and I too. Just one of those things that's nice to have in the freezer when you need a quick protein-packed breakfast and you don't want to think about what you're making. Okay, next up are these mini chocolate chip muffins, and these are one of those recipes I make over and over again in our house. I love having these on hand because they can really work for anything. I can throw a couple into my kids' lunch boxes, I can serve them alongside breakfast, or they're just an easy snack to grab when they come home from school. I'm all about foods that can double or triple duty, especially when I am meal prepping. I'll link the recipe in the description because this is one that is definitely worth saving. They're really simple to make, and one thing I love is that they use less sugar than a lot of traditional muffin recipes. And for these, you're basically just mixing together Greek yogurt, peanut butter, bananas, maple syrup, eggs, vanilla extract, flour, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, and chocolate chips. And that sounds like an exhaustive list, but I promise they're very simple to put together. And these are typically, if you bake at all, ingredients you have at home. I would definitely recommend using bananas that are a little more ripe than the ones I'm using here. The riper the banana, the sweeter they'll be naturally, so you can get a lot of the sweetness without needing to add a ton of sugar. Once everything's mixed together, I just scoop the batter into a mini muffin pan and add the chocolate chips. And honestly, making them mini is one of the reasons my kids love them so much. Everything is just more fun when it's tiny. They come out soft, fluffy, and chocolatey, but I feel a lot better about serving these than some of the packaged muffins you can grab at the grocery store. I just like knowing exactly what went into them. They're made with ingredients we already have in the kitchen. I also think these are a really good option for back to school meal prep because they're not something that needs to be reserved for one specific meal. Just make a batch on the weekend and use them throughout the week in different ways. So if I need a quick breakfast, I can add a couple of these alongside some eggs or fruit. And like I said, if I'm packing lunch, they go right into the lunch box. It all is very easy once you have them ready to go. Because they're mini, I don't feel like I'm giving them a giant muffin for a snack either that they typically won't finish. They're just the perfect little bite. These are definitely one of my favorite things to have stocked in the freezer or fridge going into a busy school week. And if you have kids who love chocolate chip muffins, I would definitely give these a try. Lastly, we have these barbecue chicken pizzas. And yes, I know these technically are not pizzas. My kids were very quick to point that out, but they still absolutely devoured them, so I'm calling it a win. These are perfect for those days when you still want something pizza-ish, but definitely don't feel like making pizza dough. I just use English muffins. I cut them in half, spread on some barbecue sauce, add some pre-cooked chicken. Rotisserie chicken is your best friend here. And top with shredded cheese. They go into the oven until the cheese is melted and bubbly, and that's it. Super easy. Of course, you can switch these up however you want. Use marinara instead of barbecue sauce, add pepperoni and cheese for more traditional pizza, or whatever toppings your kids like. Heck, even get them involved and make it a fun activity. I love these because they really work for anything. Easy lunch, quick dinner, even an after-school snack. Speaking of which, I don't know about your kids. My new kindergartner has to eat lunch at 10:30 in the morning, which is absolutely bonkers to me. So even though they have snack time at school, he comes home ready to eat. And I'd honestly rather have him eat something like this than a packaged snack. Of course, these freeze really well, so you can take out as many as you need throughout the week. Just another easy thing to have ready when school days get crazy. And that's everything. Hopefully this gave you a few ideas to make back to school mornings and afternoons a little bit easier. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.